On Cameron. I am here with you today. We are down at the KCR building today. We are at 1201 Park Avenue. This is the Landlord Resource Fair. I'm going to turn my camera here in a second so you can see what's going on. We'll talk with some folks if they want to come by and talk. We know that we'll have Lori will come by from Bremerton Housing Authority. Katie will come by and talk to us. But what's going on today is a landlord resource fair. Great opportunity, right? Sounds like our sound is going good, right? So we're doing pretty good. So let's go ahead and check in on folks and see what's happening here. It's already pretty full. You've got KCR. You've got, I can't even see everyone who's here right now, but there's quite a few people. We'll try to keep, individual faces off the camera. So I'll go low. But you can see there's a ton of people here. One of the big ones is there's landlords here today. Might be a good idea to get next to some landlords today, Not bad. And if you are a landlord, there are a lot of resources here for you. Folks are here, different agencies to provide you with information to help you. One of the great things is it is not just for renters, but it is Bremerton Housing Authority, KCR, is actually thinking about the renters also, the homeowners and everyone else. So I really appreciate that. So if you get a chance, come on down. Again, that is 1201 Park Avenue. We will be here from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Like I said, there are quite a few people here already. And it's only, it's 3 minutes after 2, and this room is packed, okay? This room is packed, I tell you. There are a ton of people here already, right? You got folks off to the side. People are talking, they're getting information. So it's really good. Hey, Rich, why don't you just take a look and see what names are on the name tags so I can tell people who's here for the resource. So Rich is going to go ahead and check that out and just let us know who is here today in terms of a resource. What is it? Fair House Center of Washington. Okay, who else?
We're like on mountain bikes now.
Washington Department of Chambers. All right. Washington Department of Commerce. All right. So Commerce is here. We've got the Housing Solution Center. Got that one. We've got Bremerton Housing Authority, KCR, and there is one other one here. And like I said, this place is packed. Let me see. Let me just do a quick count. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I'm looking at 21 people here. And this thing has not even been going 10 minutes yet, y'all. Already. So, KCR housing program, okay. Weatherization. So they're all here. Again, that is 1201 Park Avenue. And they will be here from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. So come on down and get your resources. Again, this just isn't for people that are looking for housing. This is definitely targeted toward homeowners and renters, right? This is for you. This is your resource fair. So please come on down. As I said, we'll be broadcasting live here for the duration of the event. We'll have folks come in and talk and share their feelings and what's important, and hopefully bring you some resources too. All right. So hang on tight, y'all. Lots of folks here, lots of seating. If you're feeling like, hey, I'm not going to be able to stand up the whole time, I'm going to need to take a break and sit down, you'll be able to do that too. So don't worry. Like I said, a lot of good people here, right? Look at that. All right.
Yeah. Oh wow. Oh yeah, I wasn't there then. Yeah. Then if you ever have questions, let us know. With the Fair Housing Center of Washington. So I'm with the Fair Housing Center of Washington. So we work with housing discrimination. We have assessing policies for fair housing compliance here. For properties where you have a 5 or more rent units, fair housing laws have applied to those. And so this would also yeah, so if you have tenants who are asking like disability related questions, they say, hey, I need this for my disability. We can help figure that out. You can always email me to contact me at the bottom. Yeah, so people are asking about how to comply with how do you comply with right, so to recover that. It's tough though because fair housing law definitions and I hear you. Now, even the design standards are just wildly different. That part especially, I feel bad for folks who are trying to build houses. There's so many conflicting codes. It's tough. Hello. So this is Fair Housing Center of Washington. Okay, yes, I think that's my if you start on this end, we have assessing policies for fair housing compliance. Are you familiar with fair housing laws, or is that kind of an new one? Yes. So it applies to units. And then those three are working right? So we're have if they're asking for an animal for their disability, and third-party verification if the disability is not obvious, or if the reason they need that accommodation is not obvious, you need animal verification. And so this goes over what you can and can't ask in order to apply. I'm taking this. Yeah. I know the third-party verification is so difficult. So one of the things that we do is we help people look at verification to go in and look for their direction. Too much information. We'll talk to clients and they are saying, hey, I got this certification online. Just be like, that doesn't count. But we have like scams like if you get questions from tenants who are like, I had to get request and you're not sure if it's or not, definitely reach out to us. We've got a contact information at the bottom. And so one of the things we do is we help negotiate those kind of accommodations. A lot of patients have they want to change the unit structure for their disability or something like that. That's one of the main things we do. We also, if you look at tenants who are saying one tenant is discriminating against the other, we can help out in that situation sometimes. So, okay. Yeah. So one of the things that we try to do is teach tenants what the rights are to do and like when they can say things to each other. So that's very yeah. Responding to disability-related requests. So when there was voting, and then this one all the way to the bottom is assessing policies for fair housing compliance. So if you're not sure, because there are some of those weird nuances of fair housing law. There were a few that came out recently. So this one will kind of give you an insert. And the nice thing about it is if you're using a check is filed. They've been trying to do everything they can so that enforcement agents are a lot less harsh than exactly. Thank you. Whether they think we need to accept them and follow the law or not. And then this is third-party verification. It's obvious and the reason that they're asking for a change is not obvious. So they're all proactive. And then if you have questions about fair housing, you have so if you have questions, you can email us at info@info@info.org or give us a call. I don't, but if you put a note on the sign-in sheet, you just ask for FHCW materials or fair housing materials.
The way it was set up, it didn't even look like it.
Yeah. So we're really scared about if you guys have questions, if you're having any like help mediating with a tenant about fair housing law, like stuff that we do. So I'm the Fair Housing Center of Washington. So we work with housing associations. So if you have 5 units that are available for rent, we're going to rent out, and fair housing laws are going to apply to your housing. And so this have as well as responding to disability-related requests. I am unfortunately out of the animals, when people need animals with disabilities. Yeah, but if you want a copy, you can put a note by your side, by your side street that just says fair housing materials or fair housing change. And then this is the one that and so you can always reach out to us. And then we have a little bit of a backlog on our intake for working through. So we are there are some, if you're wondering what we have a free webinar on our website that covers health processing. On our website, we'll sign up and they're all free and he's watching every day at 9.
This was the case.
Yeah, so I'm the Fair Housing Center of Washington, and we work with housing discrimination laws. So we do housing discrimination laws, so people have questions about like emotional support animals, if they have questions about if they say, like if you like discriminating against me or something like that. Oh, you got policy learning. Yeah. So that's what we do. We work with, depending on how many units you have. Okay, so then fair housing laws are going to apply to your property. And so we have both, actually. Yeah, there's the Federal Fair Housing Act and the Washington Law Against Discrimination. And so one of the things that we'll do is give you training on fair housing laws and offer that. We have some webinars online that are free, but if you have like a school, we can do free training as well. So it can be hard. If you do have questions, you can email us at the bottom, and we can answer questions that way. Right? Yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah, and unfortunately, we don't work with landlords any law directly, but we can at least let you know who to. But yeah, it can be necessary. I'm sorry about that. We've got my neighbor passed away and his daughter's moved in.
It's gone past that. Thanks, and the website will walk you through it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Wow. Yeah. Right. Wow, that's a tough situation for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough when the back pain is real hard. Yeah. I know it's tough to take advantage of some of the pressure are here because not all landlords are nice to you. So that I can't say much or they hear about it. Yeah. Well, if you ever do have questions or if you ever run into issues, give us a call or send us an email. Yeah, right. And, it's great when you can find the kind of stuff that are working and the things that you can do. But because your housing laws are kind of weird, and there have been a few changes in the last 5 years. Yeah, so we have the, mostly around criminal background checks and what kind of source of income and that sort of thing. I don't know that actually. So that it's great. Yeah, that unfortunately I don't know. Typically I would contact like what's just this project. They typically help tenants, but I know there's a King County law firm, like middle. Let's see if I can find it. I think the King County Bar Association is outside of King County. If I want to check
A lot of people here, a lot of good folks here. Again, 1201 Park Avenue. We will be here from 2 to 4 p.m. A lot of different resources here. There's even a raffle. I don't know what they're giving away. I'm going to try to find out for you. But, I mean, they got a whole table just for that with a bowl. I mean, they kind of went all out on the raffle, so I'm thinking there's probably something significant. So come on down, get your questions answered, find out what resources are available for renters. This is a renters resource fair. But of course, it's KCR and the Bremerton Housing Authority. So, you know, obviously, if you are a resident, you know, there's stuff here for you too. But this is designed to do outreach to residents. This is a great opportunity. Again, 2 to 4 p.m. So hopefully you will come on down. Come on down. Lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff. Trying not to really capture people's faces there as much as we can. There is the raffle table. Like I said, there must be something good they're going to give away to you today. And I'll be lucky number 7. So again, good event going on. Resource fair for renters. Lots of good things. You know, COVID was really tough on you. So come on down, find out about the different resources that are available to you.
Yeah.
Let's see, I've got my handy dandy cheat sheet here. All right, I got my handy dandy cheat sheet. And on my cheat sheet, it says Landlord Resources, Bremerton Housing Authority, which you can reach at bremertonhousing.org. Lori Ressinger is the Process Involvement Manager. You can reach her at 360-479-3694. And from Lori, you can find help from a former landlord liaison, including resources for getting started and answers to common questions about the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program. There's also Christopher Wichter, who is the inspector. His email is landlord@bremertonhousing.org. And here you can find answers to questions about Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program, the HQS inspections, one of the most frequent topics that landlords have questions about. Also, of course, Kitsap Community Resources is here, www.kcr.org. Early Learning and Family Services, Housing Veteran Services. Their phone number is 360-377-0053. You can find help to navigate all available programs and resources for those in immediate need of services like energy assistance, housing assistance, food resources, childcare, and early learning education. Then we have Nathan Anderson, Weatherization Program, 360-473-2054. Find the benefits available to qualifying tenants for your unit. Man, the Washington Department of Commerce is here today. Commerce.wa.gov. Nicholas Yuva, Landlord Mitigation Damage Relief Program. Phone number is 253-274-9523. Find out more about the funds available to those who rent to tenants receiving subsidy to help pay their rent. Then we have Fair Housing Center of Washington, fhcwashington.org. Carolyn Benbow, 253-274-9523. There you can find more information about fair housing laws when you don't know where to start. And then lastly, we have the Kitsap Resolution Center of Kitsap County, kitsapdrc.org. Mediation services for landlords and tenants. You can call 360-698-0968. Find help from trained mediators to allow parties to develop their own solutions for challenging situations. Again, this resource fair will be going on from 2 to 4 p.m. And we are at KCR Building 1201 in Bremerton in the Rainier Room. So plenty of parking. Come on down. Go ahead and park. There are light snacks and refreshments. Get a lot of your questions answered. Thinking about becoming a renter or a landlord, come down. They've got questions for you. It's great. And from the way I understand it is, if you are accepting a voucher, you get paid on time. And how could you hate that? That sounds like a good deal. All right, like I said, we will be here from 2 to 4 p.m., 1201 Park Avenue, here till 2 to 4 p.m.
Yeah, well, it's been fun chatting.
All right.
I'll get back to you about it. Yeah. I know. I gotta keep studying it back. I'm gonna do something. You want to get on our list? I haven't
We're still doing it. Around 5 years now. It's kind of sad. Well, yeah, so it was fine. If you treat it just like I'm like, I
All right. All right.
Oh, very nice.
Do, 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 do. Is that good?
Yeah.
They're good?
Some guys or easy answers with really about like the most common questions you get. So, but if you have warehousing questions, our contact information is on them. I mean, I'm happy to answer you now. So right here. Yep. Okay. Yep. And then you can answer questions you have issues with. So we have folks asking what kind of facility requests are reasonable. If you got tenants who are harassing each other and who are saying their name is related, like that, right? So that's one of the things that sometimes we can come out, especially if it's like tenants harassing each other. We can sometimes send out either like a notice or something, just like, hey, warehouse blah blah blah, and also kind of like how to handle that situation. Also, because she has ADA right, so that's verification that she has that disability. So under fair housing laws, if someone's disability is obvious, or if the reason why they're asking for that was obvious, they shouldn't be asking for additional verification. But if they don't have, like, if it's not obvious, then one of these packets goes over what can and can't be asked for verification. But yeah, reserve parking is a lot. The guidance is if it's the same type of parking, regardless of the reserve parking is provided free of charge. If it's, some of it's covered, some of it's uncovered. If they really want covered just because they like it, not because it's a disability, but just because they like it, then you can charge them for that. So you can offer them an uncovered for free or covered for whatever you cost it. But yeah, that comes in. And it happens. outlets, and so you know, we get a lot of places where there's wait lists. You know, it's getting to the point where there's not enough accessible housing.
All right, let's see if we can go and talk to some people and see what they have to say. There you go.
Right, but yeah, right. You might need to like assign it out, and then you need to have one.
So we're gonna wait and just see if we can't have a conversation with a few people that are staffing the booths. Oh, you know what? There's no one over here. Why don't I come over here first? I can talk to these fine folk over here. I think that would be perfect. Hey, how you doing? You are KCR Housing Programs. I'm on one camera.
I'm Scott Kelly.
Nice to meet you, Scott. So you're case manager for KCR?
Yep, I work for KCR.
Tell us a little about
So I case manage 20 participants in my program. They're the high barrier clients. These are the programs that we have started for us. I basically become a mediator between my client and the landlord and get them put into a place and get them stabilized, get them whatever they need. And yeah, that's my job.
So I'm looking at this here. This is a CHG Rapid Rehousing Landlord Agreement.
Yep.
So how does someone get, services?
So our first thing is we have our housing solution across the way over there. You come in, you fill out an application with them. You'll see a navigator, and they'll refer you to one of our programs or another program, and that's how you get into our stuff. Of course, you asked me this now. As my boss just left. Yeah, there's always resources available. You just have to qualify for whatever resources open. Yeah. Well, Housing Solutions Centers is where you start at. That's where you start at. Then it comes to they do a referral. It comes from that lady in the middle over there, Ray. She gives it to my manager, and my manager hands it out to our case managers. And
So they're like a soft handoff, or they're going to put like they kind of lost in the process.
right, I have no idea. That's management questions, and I work with my participants, and pretty much. I won't be here after 3.
Oh man, make it quick.
I go get my teeth today.
Oh, nice.
So
all right, congratulations.
I'm happy.
Hey, I love it.
How are you?
Fantastic. Who are you?
This is the weatherization program. So it's a program that's focused on energy efficiency repairs and retrofit in homes.
So what do you have to do to qualify for weatherization?
So to qualify, we would want you to call our intake person, Deborah. Her phone number is 360-473-2045. And we just ask that people call. Deborah will send them an application packet, and we can check and see if the income qualifies.
Now, is that just for renters, or is it also for
Both. Yes.
Are you the Deborah that?
Yeah.
What?
I was kind of taken back to it. I was like, oh, I
So here is the VIP. So you gotta talk to Deborah. And Deborah, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Hi. Oh, okay. Okay. Nice meeting you.
So, folks come in, whether you're a whether you're a homeowner, what types of things do you notice that?
It just all depends. There are guidelines that the grant requires. So the first, there's two parts to the application process. Is one, verifying that the applicant does income qualify, and then second, once we do that, one of our in-house inspectors, auditors, will come out and inspect the home and verify that the home qualifies as well. Unfortunately, there are some times where it's beyond the scope of work that we can do within the grant guidelines. So a lot of that depends on
So the work that we do is primarily things like insulating, air sealing. We do look at heat systems, and those heat systems may have the ability to cool as well, like if it's a heat pump system. I know there was some other agency programs that were doing strictly just air conditioner installations, but that wasn't us. Energy assistance. Yeah.
I don't have my camera over here, but I'm just going to tell everyone. So what you're looking at here is a really nice sign, and man, I'm looking at insulation and impact on low-income Americans. How did you know weatherization fact? Oh man, this is good stuff. And if you do some of this work, right, that means that your electric bill, your utility bills are going to go down, right? Because you've done the weatherization, so it's going to stay warmer, it's going to stay cooler, which is super important.
Yes, very much so.
I love it. Well, thank you.
It is 360-473-2045.
Thank you so much. All right, so you heard it here, right? There's a lot of good stuff going on with weatherization. There's a lot of good stuff going on with KCR. We're going to try to get over there to Housing Solutions and see what they have to say. Of course, we'll get over to our good people at Birmingham Housing Authority, as we always do. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, I'm just trying to get Housing Solutions over there. No, it's okay.
Like I said, I think you're doing.
Fine, folks. I heard that you are the alphas. That this is where people start to get help. Is this a true story?
The way you said it.
It's a true story.
It is. It's a true story.
Will you please tell everyone who you are? Right now we're broadcasting on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook.
Fantastic.
So a lot of people that can't come down, right? And so this is a way to kind of bring the services to them.
Yes. So we are coordinated entry. Our Housing Solution Center is coordinated entry for Kitsap County. So anybody who is homeless or at imminent risk of becoming homeless comes into Housing Solution Center, fills out an application, and then we refer them to the appropriate services that can help them out.
So I actually went over to where was I? KCR over there. Oh, Brenda wasn't there at the time, but I was talking over there, and they were like, "You have to start here." That's why I came over here and said, "This is the alpha," right? I actually really meant that. What?
I'm in the middle, but I'm not. There you go.
You have to be an ace.
I mean, because I do the rental assistance, so when they come into them and they get referred to a program, it could be they're getting referred for emergency rental assistance, which I would do. Or it could be that they're getting referred to housing for like a 6-month program, or just like move-in costs for a place. So they're like the hub, and then they push them out to.
But you are super.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay the landlords. I'm gonna pay the landlords the most amount of money. How about that? There you go.
That definitely makes me helpful.
Yeah.
So are there any resources currently right now? Or dried up?
For rent assistance?
My grant just closed, but I am getting new funding in the next few months. I can't give a date, so I'm not going to.
New funding coming soon. Y'all heard that.
Okay. It'll be up on the website and on Facebook when my funding and my grant opens.
Woo! All right, you done heard it here first. That's why it's so important, right? You got all the real news.
I don't know. We're all just here. Yeah, I'm with Housing Solution Center also, and we're just here to help people when we can.
So can you tell me about this? So we get this email. Actually, I don't think we've received this email in a while. We used to get this all the time.
Who'd you get it from? Oh, this one here.
Do you need to start getting them again?
Yes.
Okay, here I have an email that I've created about a whole bunch of things that we need to do. So. It's a subsidized housing list. So it is places that provide subsidy or allow subsidy, and there's all different amounts. There's 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 30%, 50%, 60%. There's all different kinds of stuff. I don't.
What do you think?
I'm on the spot.
So
I'm
this
nervous.
means that there's lots of
There's a lot.
availability right now.
No, that's not true.
Oh no, that's not true. Uh-oh.
Yeah, but there might not.
She said stop the cap. Okay.
We'd be lying if we said that we weren't in a housing crisis.
That's fair. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's important. People don't say that, right?
Oh, I'll say it.
Oh, good, good. Well, what can we do about that? Anything?
Build more houses that are affordable, buy more places that are affordable.
Get more grants from the Commerce to build more affordable housing.
Message received.
We need more money.
I'm on it. I'm on it. I am on it.
Yeah.
We did just do
Yeah.
Oh,
I know. I missed it.
I was
I'm so mad I missed it. So, but that's big, right? That's a big deal.
But we've already got all of our slots.
You already feel. I know. That's how bad it is. It is a crisis. All right, so I'll let you go because there's someone else here that wants to jump in and talk. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hey, how are you doing? I'm Marwan.
I'm Nick.
Nice to meet you, Nick. So who are you?
I work for the Department of Commerce. I run the Landlord Mitigation Program. Yeah, of course. So the Landlord Mitigation Program offers up to $5,000 in reimbursement for damages caused by a tenant that received rental assistance.
Really? What do you have to do to qualify for that or prove it?
Well, it's not really a qualification. The landlord does the application on our website, and then there will be 2 pieces that are required to get access to it. One is a statewide vendor number. The other is a Secure Access Washington account. Both are free. Well, yeah, fairly. The statewide vendor number takes about 3 to 5 days to get, but once you have that, you can reuse it over and over again. And once you have it, you can start submitting claims on our portal.
So is this like if they go beyond damages?
Yeah. So, yeah, there could be damages. Once the tenant vacates, you can include unpaid rents. About the only things that we don't pay are lease break charges or deposit forfeitures, anything associated with breaking a lease, basically.
How long has this been around?
Since 2018.
What? This sounds like a huge secret.
No, well, I've been out there. It's pretty well known throughout the state of Washington. In fact, we've had over 17,000 claims submitted in the 5 years. Well, only 17,000. That's a lot. A lot for one person to process. So, yeah, no, it's a great program, though.
So, what are your thoughts on someone who may be
Well, I've given the roadshow and I've talked to landlords that were in that spot back in 2018 when we passed the anti-income discrimination law, and we removed their ability to deny people who were on Section 8. Yeah, that was in 2018 the law passed. And I would ask landlords, how many landlords in the room have tenants that did not receive a rental subsidy, but still caused damages and still have a balance owing? And every landlord's going to leave their hand in the air. It doesn't matter if a tenant receives rental assistance or does not receive rental assistance. Damages occur at all income levels, and the debt repayment occurs at all income levels too. This program here permits landlords who have received taken in a tenant that receives rental assistance and an additional $5,000 in security deposit from the state of Washington. So if I were a landlord, I'd probably consider this over a non-subsidized tenant.
You know what? And that's why I said, only 17,000, right? Because I think 40% of people that live here are renting. So you would think 17,000 over the state, it might be 170,000, right? So only 17,000. Sounds like it's not getting as much use as, at least I'm thinking in my mind, right? It could have been 170,000.
But to put it more plainly for you, the program has paid out $11 million since 2018. We do have a couple of large property management companies that have hired people on just to submit claims to the program, just because it's so popular. But all of the larger, well, all the known landlord associations in the state of Washington are well aware of the program. All the tenant advocacy organizations and subsidy providers are aware of the program. Really, the only issue is that we don't have a way to reach the landlords outside of that. There's no registration, certification, or anything like that for landlords in the state of Washington. So there's no way to get direct mailers out to them. So if they don't come into the landlord associations or the conventions that I speak at, then they kind of have to just hunt and peck and Google search it. It's all over the Google.
So for anyone who's watching us on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch, and they happen to be thinking about it, how do they get in contact?
Sure. So the website is commerce.wa.gov/landlord fund. That's all one word with a D on the end. The email is just the opposite of that. So landlordfund@commerce.wa.gov.
You're awesome. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Man, that's super knowledgeable. I love it. See what's happening? 2 to 4 p.m. Come on down. There's plenty of time. Lots of information. Lots of good stuff. How did that go? Good?
Right now.
Folks that work with over the years. How about you? How's it going? Busy. Yeah. I've been calling some folks too. I ran out of materials. I thought that I had enough, but letting them to know next to their signage if they want materials emailed to them. So I will probably be emailing you just a packet. Okay. So they can ask me for those stuff. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. If that's all right. Whatever we get. Yeah. I was like, it's a lot easier than I took some time to just one packet. Yeah, and I had been figuring out more about like my printer writing was working. Yeah, and I had 30 of each, so it was like, pretty good. that's a good problem to have. It's a good problem. I love that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm so happy that. Yeah. No, it's been good to talk to people and help folks under. Most of it is around disabilities. I only did because I was the number of complaints given. So I think HUD said about 60% of their complaints are disability based.
You told me Ben said
that is probably the number one question, especially around like the ESAs and the programs and then parking. So reserve parking is a big issue. For their unit, I'm just looking to. I mean, depending on the conference, right? Some conferences much as this is an animal checklist.
I'm the guy. You ever reach out to
Right. Yeah. You can do emotional support, behavior therapy, the general turnout. Right. Well, and So we are starting to do a lot more in person. So it's easier for free, but depending on the audience, how many people are there, that sort of thing. We have a few grants that we have to do so many trainings anyway, so just works out well. So I think for August, I think we have one more training available. So if you had a group of folks who are like, hey, then otherwise, grants will renew next year. I would love to training or research therapy. or lawyers. I know a couple questions that got to me in my head, and I was like, not ideal. So that is one thing that we're working with. I've done one presentation with Justice Project, but that was up in Scattered County. So that's our students.
Yeah, because like, you know that I know because like there's
when you're lawyers, that's what happens.
Right, and they're very and so I know
well, and I haven't gotten it hard because like I said, I should be saying that. But it's good, right? Because then at least I can right. When you're looking at like what you can and can't ask about criminal history and what you can and can't ask about like that sort of thing, right? So
All right, y'all. It's only 3 p.m. We've got another hour to go. Thinning out a little bit, which means that you can talk to whoever you want to talk to, which is fantabulous, right? The ladies are eating, so I want to kind of get off of them. They won't appreciate that later. Like, oh, wow, I was literally recording us eating. Anyway, we're down here at 1201 Park Avenue. This is the Landlord Resources Fair. Again, today we have the Bremerton Housing Authority with us. Lori Messenger, who is the Process Improvement Manager. We have Christopher Witcher, who is the Inspector for Bremerton Housing Authority. We have KCR here, Early Learning and Family Services and Housing Veteran Services. We have Nathan Anderson with the Weatherization Program. We have Nicholas Yuva, who is the Landlord Mitigation Damage Relief Program from the Washington Department of Commerce. We also have the Fair Housing Center of Washington, and Carolyn Benbow. I'm going to go and talk to her in a minute. She's with somebody right now. And then, of course, the Dispute Resolution Center of Kitsap County, the mediation services for landlords and tenants. So, again, we'll be here from 2 to 4 p.m. Come on down, 1201 Park Avenue. Lots of great resources. And probably the most important resource here today are landlords. So if you have questions, please come and talk to landlords. All right.
Yeah. It's great. And then, our 2 and 3 hours training go into a lot more than nitty-gritty out there. And then one of the things that we are working on developing is like a 200 level training for people who've been through the basics and now want to know mental affairs, more about like, especially for the just tricky situations. Yeah, and like what do you do when one thing lets go and the other side is like when should you get involved and when not get involved, like what do you do? So right.
We have my email.
Yeah. So, but folks definitely need a basic understanding of fair housing law before they can do those more complicated situations. So we are working on developing curriculum. Oh yeah. My pleasure.
Thank you as well.
More people get in.
What we do,
right? Like, but I was just wondering if that's like, I would prefer the in-person communication rather than like email or. I mean, I like emailing, but you get better conversation in person.
Yeah, most of my vision with the webinar this week for a conference. I'm like, I'm gonna go do something fun too.
Right. No, I don't have any resources to run.
This was the first time in 5 years I've been there that I've heard anyone go to a webinar to a conference.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Though. This time of year,
oh yeah, it's some good hiking. And I think the rates are cheaper than they are in winter.
How are you doing? doing today?
I am doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I am fantastic. So, what do you think?
Oh man, this was huge. This was much bigger. I mean, obviously the crowd is dwindling now, but
It's like a 23, 24 all at the same time.
right, right, and it was packed in here, and that was beyond what I could have hoped for.
Really?
Yes, yes, sir. So yeah, I think people do appreciate the in person more. It's a little bit different than Zoom, where it's maybe more sterile. But I'm just glad I was able to get Nick, Yuva, especially, and Carolyn from Fair Housing, because I get a lot of questions about fair housing. I can't answer them. I don't know the answer to that. They're important questions. Nick gets a ton. There's a lot of landlords that want to know more about that money that is available to them.
Well, and apparently they still have a lot of questions. They're just very shy.
Well, at least now they've broken the ice.
Yes.
At least now they've seen, once you see that face, it helps. You know what I'm saying?
That's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. And I'm happy that KCR is here, because their programs are like, there's so many and they work so differently, and they depend on different pots of money, different funding, and it can be a lot. It can be a lot to wrap your head around. Glad they're more short-term emergency housing, whereas we're more long-term non-emergency. And then I'm so glad Christopher is here to talk about inspections. Everybody has, okay, good. Everybody has questions about inspections. Every landlord that we work with, no matter what.
Yeah, that's a big deal, right? Because I've got to
Huge
pass
deal.
muster in order to be approved.
Correct.
And then I got to continue to be able to pass inspection.
Right. People want to know we have a list of the most common things that we look for. They love that because it gives them a starting point.
Right.
Really, really minor stuff sometimes, like cracked light cover switch or light switch cover, excuse me. But a lot of people are intimidated because they hear the word inspection. They think we're going to come in with a magnifying glass. No, it's health and safety. Health and safety. Basic minimal health and safety requirements.
And you guys are very helpful in helping people get over that threshold.
Oh yeah. We will let you know if it failed, what it was, that kind of thing, and so you can
give you some time to fix it.
Correct it. Yeah.
You need to replace that roof and put in a new deck. No, that's not what it is.
If we see that, then that's a little more challenging of a problem, but definitely a lot of the timing sometimes too is all these questions around.
So I have to say, I haven't seen you in a while, and I'm reading the sheet, and your job title has changed. Can you talk about that?
I am a process improvement manager now.
Hit the horn. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, formerly landlord liaison. I'm still answering questions from landlords at BHA.
So what is your job?
I want to improve our processes so we can better and more efficiently serve our customers.
Nice.
And so that's going to take some time. We're going to also move to electronic and digital.
Wow.
That's going to take, so it's a pretty big endeavor, but I think it's needed first. So then we can be at that level where we can help as many people as possible.
Well, what's nice is, it's kind of like a stair step, right? You launch the cafe, and then you get a couple different iterations, and more people get comfortable.
Right.
Kind of shifting people a little bit at a time.
Yes, exactly. And then looking at our internal processes, because we want to be efficiently using the funds that we have, so.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations. How long have you been in the business?
Since late April, so just a few months.
So, Monsters are growing to those feet, y'all. She keeps it pushing.
Thank you. Well, it's always fun to go on your podcast as well. Just talking about everything, housing.
Well, you know what? One of the landlords came in and said, hey, I heard this was going to be on Zoom, and then they said no. It's like, oh, no, we're broadcast on YouTube and this and that. I have a friend in California that won project. I was like, hey, scan this QR code and send it to him.
Oh, that's wonderful. See,
you got someone in California.
It's the networking. Networking. I love that. And I wanted property management people to also be welcome here, and a lot of them showed up. I wanted them to know that we are here to work with you too.
Absolutely.
In fact, they're usually the face of who we deal with versus owners.
It doesn't have to be an adversarial relationship.
No,
It's really a partnership.
We
good
definitely.
Tenants, good owners.
Right. we want to make sure that that we can get them through the process of an annual inspection as fast as we can, and all of the other things that we do together. Yeah.
So is this like your first big event in your new position?
Yeah, and it's part of my landlord liaisoning. I'm the landlord liaisoning here. I'm going to be process improving.
You're wearing dual hats.
Right. And I'm here for landlords still if they need me. May not be as able to get back as quickly, but I'm still here.
And you want someone passionate who's on your case, there to support you and help you through.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. All right. I want to meet Christopher.
Yeah, and I was like,
grab a plate.
Caddy corner straight across from you.
Here. And he was like,
oh, that's it? Carolyn from Fair Housing.
Maybe I should get her first.
Yeah.
That is really a weird
We're going to go talk to Carolyn and see if she'll talk to us. Let's see. I know, I'm going to move it. Carolyn, can I come and talk to you? I'm just going to move this camera so I can catch you. Did you get her? Rich, you got her? All right.
There we go.
How are you? Who are you?
I'm Carolyn. I'm with the Fair Housing Center of Washington. So, yeah. So, it really is. It really is. So we are an agency that works under housing discrimination laws, and so we cover 23 counties. So we basically work from the top of the state to the bottom of the state, from the ocean to just over the mountains.
Okay.
So we're a little nonprofit.
You're a nonprofit?
Yep. So we work with folks to train them on fair housing laws. So if people are unsure if they're being discriminated against or not, or if a housing provider is unsure of like what kind of laws are applying to their specific properties, that's one of the things we help out with. And then if people have a disability-related request for their housing provider, we can help negotiate with that as well.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's people can ask for, depending on what kind of property it is, can ask for things like changing a policy or procedure because of their disability if it's making it harder for them to access their housing. If the unit structure needs to be modified, we can help with that. Sometimes for structure changes, tenants have to pay. Sometimes the landlord has to pay. It depends on funding sources. So it's that's a lot of what we do. And so,
so you know what's interesting? I was watching, maybe it was Fox News or King 5, Como, one of the 3, 4, and they were talking about passing, getting on the levy to talk about. Hey, thank you, appreciate you. Changing the laws and making it a little bit more stricter in regards to tenant rights in Pierce County?
So I know that there is a housing code debate going on in Tacoma and Pierce County. There's not a lot I can say on it because it's still up for debate and there's a lot of changes going on. But that's a pretty good example of how fair housing laws and landlord-tenant laws are a little different. So landlord-tenant laws cover things like how much notice you can give, what kind of deposit you have to pay, when you cannot pay a landlord because of repair issues, or when you can evict a tenant. Like, all of that's covered under landlord-tenant laws. Fair housing laws cover systemic discrimination. So if people are being treated differently because of their race, color, national origin, familial status, disability, religion, marital status, and veteran status in Washington state. So there are different protections depending on which state you're in. If they're being treated differently because of those protected classes, then fair housing laws start applying. So it gets a little different. So a lot of times, like the housing rental codes, even though they talk about fair housing, it's typically more under landlord-tenant rather than fair housing laws.
You see how fast it just came off the tongue? That's an expert. You want to be able to talk to experts. It was like, if it was this, if it was that, or that, did you do this?
It's a lot of nuances. So I've been doing this work for 7 years, and I work very closely with fair housing lawyers who can let me know if I don't know something. I've been getting a lot of training with them. So it's just a lot of fun.
What are like maybe like common things that tenants
Yeah. So in terms of fair housing complaints, most often it's disability related. There are a lot of types of disabilities and medical conditions that are covered under fair housing law that are not covered under like ADA, the Americans with Disability Act. Yeah, like assistance animals is a big one. So if someone has emotional support animal, it might be allowed in housing when it's not allowed in like a restaurant. And so like assistance animals is probably our biggest topic, where we talk with both landlords and tenants about when the animal is reasonable under fair housing laws, when it's not, that sort of thing. Reserved parking comes up a lot. It's a pretty big one that people can ask for as part of their, if they have a disability. Yeah. Right. Way far away. If you have a disability, that makes it hard. Yeah. Yeah. So like that sort of thing. And then after that, we get a lot of like familial status complaints. So households with children being told they can't rent on either a top floor or being rented in a specific unit because they don't think that like a single parent with a mother should be there, like that sort of thing. So we cover, most often with occupancy standards, we find issues with like studio apartments where they're like, it's only for one person, but it has to depend on how big it is. So So if it's one of those teeny tiny units, it probably is only one person. But if it's like 400, 500 plus square feet, it could be discriminatory to say only one person can live here. So
it sounds like it's really important to reach out whether or not you feel that something is wrong or not. Like there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Than asking, right? 'Cause you
Yeah.
don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. So we do have on our website, if you Google Fair Housing Center Washington, we have on our website a webinar for tenants' rights, but also for more geared towards housing providers, what the definition of disability is, how to respond to disability-related requests, how to look at criminal background checks and comply with fair housing law. All of that's covered on our website. And we also provide trainings. So, but of course, people can ask can contact our office, and we do individual questions too.
Can you give us some examples? Because sometimes it's not overt, right?
Right.
It's very, I feel something, but I'm not really sure.
Right. So for folks who feel like they're experiencing discrimination, there are a couple options, right? So you can, if you don't want to get too involved, but you want your housing provider investigated, we have a secret shopper program where we send testers out to see how they're treated in the housing market. Those testers aren't necessarily looking for discrimination in general. What they're looking for is just writing a report on how they're treated. And then our agency will compare the reports and see if there's a difference in treatment.
Gotcha.
And so,
is it like for that specific thing that they're complaining about?
It can be. Okay. So sometimes that testing evidence, if it does show like there's fair housing violations there, sometimes we add it to a client's complaint as evidence. Sometimes clients don't want to be too involved. They're afraid of retaliation. And even though that's illegal.
Come into that.
Yeah. So even though retaliation is illegal, it's also true that it's a little hard. It just takes a while to file a complaint, right? It's a long process. So we try to mediate differences as much as we can to help people actually access their housing. And
so do you help and support in that way? Like, let's say, I felt like there was an issue. I reported it on my own. I didn't know about you.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I'm being retaliated against. Yep. So then I find out about this organization. I say, hey, this is what's happening. Can you send in a secret?
We can send in secret shoppers. We can also, one of the things is if you do file a fair housing complaint, right, there are enforcement agencies in charge of making sure that landlords don't discriminate. If we feel like we can't just talk to the landlord to mediate that, if we feel like they are retaliating and don't follow fair housing laws, then a lot of times folks will just file a complaint with like Washington State Human Rights Commission or HUD, and those enforcement agencies can ask for documents to show whether or not they're discriminating or not. So in terms of difference in treatment, the enforcement agencies might ask like, okay, show us the list of everyone you've leased to in the last year or two. And then they'll look at the demographics, right? So if the demographics show that a protected class is excluded, like a race or national origin, families are excluded consistently over time, then that's going to be a fair housing violation. But sometimes it happens where someone's like, I thought I had the unit, and then it went out from under me, and then the investigation happens, and then the enforcement agencies get paperwork showing that someone else had just put in an application, like literally had just put it in a little bit before, and so they actually were first. And so it can be.
So is that how that is supposed to be? So
Yeah. Yeah.
In our case management, where someone, they've worked with Repton House, get all their ducks in a row. They're like one of the first people to submit it, and they're like, okay, we're just going to run the background. And, they didn't get conversations where one just got involved. Yeah, we're here to support them. And then they give it to someone else. It's like,
I thought we were good. Yeah. So, in terms of whether a complaint will be accepted for investigation, our agency, because of our limited capacity, we do need a little bit of evidence. So whether that's emails or text messages, something like that. But the general public can just file a complaint if it looks like on the surface you've been discriminated against.
Oh, really?
It's hard to win a case without evidence, but.
So is that the first thing you're kind of looking at is where in the queue you apply?
Yeah.
So if you passed all the markers, then accept this.
It's that. It's also looking at like what terms were given, what conditions, what was the deposit, what availability.
That does change too, right?
It can. When we do our testing, what we find is for the housing providers that are discriminating, they tend to give different availability dates to different people, or they give different deposit amounts.
You were giving the goods today.
So, and that's the kind of thing you're not going to know if you just go in, right? So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, and I wouldn't either. If I just went in by myself, I would know. And that's one of the benefits of the testing program is even though the testers are neutral, right? They're not trying to like find anything particular. They're just saying, hey, what's available? What's this? What's that? Right? But then they're turning in the reports about how they were treated. And so then we see from those reports what happened.
Man, that's fascinating.
So,
I've even gone with clients to look at some places that were, fearful or they had bad luck. And so, maybe I've had that experience where it was like, it's supposed to be availability July 1, which is Sunday, or say, whatever day.
Yeah.
And it's like, all of a sudden, it's like, well, it's not going to be until August.
Yeah.
September 1st.
Yeah.
But they know that you need it now, and then now it's not available.
Yeah. So,
that was a tactic.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It is, I mean, honestly, it's a little less common than it used to be. When I first started 7 years ago, that was probably the most common tactic we saw. And I don't know if maybe because a lot of people are using software now, so it's a little less common. But it's still one of those things where it's like, if they told you on the phone that there's a unit available and then you show up in person, suddenly it's not.
It's gone, right?
Then, it's one of those things that might be worth seeing if it can get investigated.
Does your agency put out, FAQs like that and just kind of things to maybe look out for?
We try.
I've been doing this for a while and I just learned something today.
Yeah. So we, like I said, we're a smaller nonprofit. We have at this point 3 full-time staff and then a number of testers. But we are working on better ways to get the word out to people. So
this is one way right now.
Yeah.
So you're on YouTube, you're on Facebook, you're on Twitch.
Yeah. So we, it's one of those things that we are trying to do. But the most we can do is with the, we try to do social media. We try to get to resource fairs like this one. We try to get out to folks. Sometimes when we have complaints against housing providers, one of the requirements, if discrimination is found, is we have them notify all their tenants of their fair housing rights. That's a pretty common requirement for folks. So at least that way their tenants know. But for most of the housing providers that we talk with, most of them are trying to do the right thing. I know there are a lot of bad housing providers out there who are not, but just, people are people, right? It's not going to matter. But a lot of the housing providers, they just need a little more coaching to help them say, this is this weird nuance under fair housing law. So that's what we do.
Well, you guys are awesome. Tell everyone who you are again.
Yes, Carolyn Benbow with the Fair Housing Center of Washington.
And where's your main location?
Tacoma.
Tacoma. All right, so not far away. And how do people get in touch?
Probably our website is the fastest way. So it's fhcwashingtonspelledout.org. Honestly, just Google it, Fair Housing Center of Washington, and look up the contact information there. It's the easiest way.
I really appreciate you. I learned a lot today. Super informative. Hope everyone else has learned some things out there too today. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
It really has changed around here, hasn't it? It's incredible. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Downtown sure is taking off, hasn't it?
Yeah, transporting is.
Every last Saturday in March. That's a big part.
What are you doing?
Really neat.
People like this.
Walk around.
I was talking with City of Tacoma folks. They're like, oh yeah, we're telling now we're typically to build as many parking spots. And it's like, what about people volunteers? Where's their accessible parking? And they're like, y'all work in the government. This should be like basic.
Yeah.
I know that I've got a client who gets panic attacks trying to go on public transportation because she's been attacked a few times. So like, she's up in Seattle, so like, she's not the safest area. So yeah, but they don't want the liability. Right. They don't want the liability. Yeah, so I know one of the things I had mentioned to those folks, I was like, okay, so if you're a takeaway for me running free transportation, like maybe you should be in those developments fund organizations that provide transportation because like it's just such a big issue. I think about a third of the physical accommodations that we help with, so around parking and accessibility and things like that. Oh, perfect. Yeah, and I'm sorry we just moved our office.
That's okay.
So all our business cards are updated. Yeah, excellent. Love to.
Oh, I appreciate it.
But I appreciate that.
I'm so sorry. I was supposed to be gone at that spot.
Okay. Yeah, no one.
I just want to find out where everybody is because I'll be here until access picks me up. I'll be sitting out there. Oh.
Wait till the but I do is camera on that side and that
I need one of you in that chair. Okay, well, I think I'm going to go
Yeah. Getting close to end. Stickers, peanut M&Ms, regular M&Ms,
Would you mind speaking and telling us what it is that we do here for the Bremerton Housing Authority?
Yeah, is that on?
It's live.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead and take these if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. Yeah, my name's Christopher Witcher. I'm an inspector.
Inspector?
Yeah.
So what all you do for work for the housing authority?
Yeah, for Bremerton Housing Authority. So it's the Housing Choice Voucher Program, or popularly known as Section 8.
Okay.
It's subsidized housing, so a participant pays about 30% of their income towards rent and utilities, and then the 30%, and then the housing authority covers the rest. What I do is when a participant with a voucher finds a unit, we got to go in and inspect and make sure that it meets a certain, quality of health and safety standards. So I just go in, make sure smoke detector's there. It's the electrical is working correctly, and make sure it's safe. And then 16 years. Yeah, but I'm new as an inspector.
Okay.
So I've had various positions, and I'm just coming into the inspector position. So
How do you like doing it?
so far, I like it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing it for a long time. Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, well, appreciate it. Appreciate you coming and putting this together and all that good stuff.
Yeah. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Nice meeting you.
It's nice to meet you too.
Yeah. Found that by accident last time I went down.
It's actually not bad. My daughter would Olympia. I'm constantly trying to find ways to beat the traffic. It's a slower drive, but it's pretty.
Yeah. I mean, just to have less traffic was worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, it's not even so much the speed, it's just the constant movement, not being stuck in one spot. That's a good thing.
Well, and my AC is iffy right now. It needs to be fixed. And so if you're putting the AC up, the road noise can get pretty bad in my apartment. I need to get some second opinion on it, because folks are quoting anything from like $200 to $800. I'm like, I don't know if I need AC that badly.
Well, I guess it depends. You know what they've got? Have you seen the ones that are you talking about like a full install?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something stuck in it, so like every once in a while it just makes a grating noise.
Okay.
So they're like, maybe we'll find it fast, and maybe we won't find it at all.
Well, you can get around $400 or $500 for these window units where they are now horseshoe shaped, so you can drop the window all the way down. Yeah, they're really cool. I was looking at getting one my last place. I've got air conditioning built in where I am, but
That's interesting.
yeah, you can get 1,200 BTU, 12,000 BTU unit. Pretty good space cool.
Yeah, I mean our house has a specialist heat pump in it,
Okay.
which works decently well. But I don't know. I think it's been hard the last couple of years to get it maintained.
They were the humidity here doesn't help.
No. I noticed there was a lot of humidity in Tacoma at least. Seems a little lighter up here. Yeah. But I don't know. Tacoma was bad this time. I was like, what? How does that have this humidity? That's a Minnesota problem.
I've got a dehumidifier sitting on the counter with a clear reservoir so you can see the water flags. Which is surprising. It's like we're coming up on July and we've had really nice warm streaks. It's still getting about 3/4 of the way full in about a week. And I'm like,
Wow. I would not expect that.
Yeah.
For as little like rain as we've had.
It's just the air.
Yeah.
This is Rochester. It's further south and out away from the sound. So.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we've had warm weather, but not really hot weather.
Yeah, we had a couple of really hot days, but nothing intolerable.
Yeah. So I'm sure that's part of the reason why the humidity's still there, because there's nothing dried out yet.
Yeah, and then we got a ton of rain right in between them too.
Oh, there you go. We finally got rain last week, I think.
Yeah, that was last week or the weekend before. And my folks were in town. I remember that. We were driving around looking for something to do. I actually got a really amazing breaks. We just went over the staircase. Have you did the staircase rapids? It's by Hood Sport. Steep part. Yeah, it's about a 2-mile loop. The small loop was about a 2-mile hiking loop. Somehow we didn't get rained on at all that day. It was dumping down rain all the way there, all the way back, all the way eating. It was like,
Excellent.
just got that perfect break. Oh, this is excellent.
Like, oh, you're hiking. We will stop for a moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that.
The sun.
That was like a time we went to the zoo and it was torrential downpouring on the way there. Stopped while we were there, and then as we left, it started again. And I was like, well, we needed that.
Yeah. I was looking out for you that day.
Well, yeah, especially because the folks I were with didn't want to deal with crowds. And I was like, did you order in that rain? I feel like you ordered in that rain.
Just for these specific times.
Just for this time. But yeah, it was great. Like everybody was leaving the zoo as we came in, and then it was like perfect weather, and then as we left, it started raining again. We're like, okay.
Excellent day. Excellent day. You got to deal with rain in Washington. You can't be afraid of it.
Yeah. It only took me 10 years, but I finally invested in a good raincoat.
I still don't know another umbrella. I haven't known one since I was a kid.
No, I always found umbrellas annoying even when I was in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But I grew up in Southern California, so I wasn't used to rain for a long time. But no, once I got a good raincoat, like.
Yeah. I got my oil leather hat in the car and my raincoat in there.
Ooh, nice.
If I ever need it, it's there. But
Yeah.
I always wear boots, it seems like, unless I'm doing these events.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you do in Washington. You can always tell the natives by the ones that they don't carry umbrellas and stuff.
Or those who've been coached by natives.
Yeah.
My guy was on the first day, he's like, don't you ever use an umbrella. And I was like, I would lose it anyway, so it's fine. But like,
yeah.
And I did jokingly tell him I was going to get a bright orange one or a bright yellow one, just so, because he dresses in all black. And so I'm like, I feel like I need a bright yellow umbrella just to embarrass you all around. But honestly, I'd probably leave it behind somewhere. So it's not worth all the puddles they make when you bring them back in the house.
If you bring them back to the house, and then you're not even supposed to open them, so the water's just, yeah.
Or if it's at all windy, they start going the other way. Yeah, not exactly.
But it is a rookie move.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Part of California. Part of California.
So I grew up in east of LA, San Bernardino County, Upland. So I lived there from age 2 to 16.
Huh?
So
you wanted to get away?
Yeah, so
Just wanted to be cold and wet and excited.
my extended family is all from Minnesota.
Okay.
So we moved to California for my dad's job. And then he had severe disease, so we moved back to Minnesota. And then when I was in Minnesota, I was like, I actually miss mountains and ocean, but I can't breathe in California. So I really liked not getting asthma attacks. So I was like, well, check out Washington. They have all the things.
You had a hard time in the drier climate?
In California specifically, because the smog gets trapped against the mountains.
So down by
And so it literally turns air around. And so, yeah, if I were further north or on the other side of the mountains, it would have been okay. But
yeah, I was born in Ventura.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, had family in Camarillo, Ojai, and everywhere else. But I love that area. That area is amazing, but I never liked going to LA.
That part I don't.
Yeah.
I think it's some of the food down there, but
Well, I mean, you could find food anywhere.
you can find equally good but different like anywhere. Like they don't have. I don't think maybe they do now, but they didn't have the teriyaki type place that up here has. But a good like barbecue place is kind of hard to find out here.
Out here?
Well, I know. There's one down the road from here, but like in Tacoma, it's hard to find one.
Yeah, same with same with where I'm at. Like Ocean Shores at the IGA, they were doing brisket one day. And it was the most amazing brisket ever. They're like, oh yeah, we do this every weekend. So every time that we've gone out, we've gone specifically to the IGA, and they've
Yeah.
So frustrating. And we've got a little barbecue shack, and they're always out of brisket. Every time we go in, like, we sold 50 pounds this morning. Like, you gotta space this out, buddy.
It's clearly popular. You should make a little more. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's tough to find. Same with Thai food. I was just looking for Thai, thinking to pick some up on the way home.
It is hard. It's normally too sweet, but I find.
Watery, like curry, I like to get thick.
Yeah.
And creamy. And unfortunately, that's the one thing that Portland does not rank anybody on. I know the Thai place has it, it's just amazing.
Oh, good. Yeah. I'm gonna check that out. I actually spent like 4 months in Thailand.
Now, see, isn't it crazy that the spices are more infused to the food over there? I spent some time over there also.
Yeah, no, it's great food over there.
Yeah, I think I have Penang curry every night. I have different lunches throughout the day.
Yeah.
Penang curry was like my dinner every night for 2 weeks straight. Trying out new places every time.
That's the way to do it, though.
It only costs a couple dollars US.
Right? Yeah, we mostly did like the pad thai and the pad siu were the ones that we got fixated on. Although I found out not while I was there, but later in life I found out that I'm actually so,
that would be terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and which I find funny now because I remember I was there and I was like, I'm just in really good shape. I'm always out of breath. Like I don't know. Like no, just allergic reaction the entire time I was there. But like, but that was part of the reason why I think like intuitively I stayed away from the curry and went to the pad thai and everything. It makes me sad though because those smell great.
Oh my gosh! Well, like I said, I didn't meet a curry I didn't like over there.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've never met a curry I didn't like, but there's definitely ones that are
good
low.
versions and yeah. How I view most cookies. Where you're like, they're average cookies and then they're really big ones. Yeah. I know, but I don't.
My daughter's first attempt at fudge, that was interesting. It was still fudge. I mean, we ate it. We might have crumbled it up and put it in some milk or something.
Sure. Came out real dry.
Yeah. But I'm not going to tell her I'm disappointed. Don't say that to your daughter.
Right.
It's all that effort in.
Yeah, I don't know. I never attempted fudge. I've made some really bad desserts though.
We all mess up.
Right. That's half the fun of baking, right? I still remember one that I think I must have put too much salt in. I don't know. It was so bad the dog didn't eat it. And I was like, well, oops. My first attempts at making vegan desserts were horrible. I didn't know anything about veganism except like what you could use, and I was trying to do it for a friend who was vegan, and so I was like, well, these taste like rubber. Now I know how to do it, but like.
My brother's vegan, and I gotta tell you, he keeps trying to pass stuff to me, like, try this vegan jerky out. It tastes just like jerky. I'm like, let's give that jerky in 10 years. You don't know what jerky tastes like.
Right. It's better if you just call it something different.
Yeah.
And then it's fine.
I did try it. I did try to entertain it, but I did try it. And it tasted like a fruit roll.
Right.
It's just not it. The chicken nuggets, those did taste like chicken nuggets.
Yeah, some of them are pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I had a where it looked like ground beef, but it was something else.
Yeah, I use that stuff all the time.
Yeah, that's fine.
It plays the part really well. In fact, I hate cooking ground beef just because it's so there's something in the odor and the oils and everything. So I
Yeah.
use those. It works great.
Yeah. First time I had it was in nachos at a bar in Tacoma. They put it on there, and I was like, I mean, I can't tell what to say.
Even if you know, it still plays the part well.
Yeah. Hello. My only issue with people trying to like classify things as alternate is just because I do have weird allergies is like I tend to be allergic to a lot of things in vegan. And I'm just like, please don't try to trick me. I don't want to have this today.
Yeah.
I think we could start.
All right, so this is Richard, and we're coming to the end of the event for the landlord resources. A lot of people showed up. It was a great event. We met a lot of great people, a lot of landlords and property management and housing solution. Put it all together, and we're at a wrap. Thanks.
Apparently.
Conference parents.
You know, they might be.
For the loan assistance, my grant is it is. So then I have a step. So I have but
Oh, thanks again for coming. I know you're always asked about